went, was about 120 miles there and 120 miles back, and not straight up a straight interstate. It was crooked roads for a third of it. The rest wasn't too bad. I got a snapper lawnmower. Had to take the tires off, put it in here once, and it wouldn't let the engine get up against this bar that was going to be the factor of it holding it in with that much sticking out, the front. So snapper, and it's a big 30-inch cut, and you'll hear more about this later. He said that this is the original engine. I haven't even got to read this date thing yet, but I'll read it later. You guys might see it now.
He bought it in an auction. He didn't know.
What does that say? Type
191702. It should be a 190.
702. Yeah, it's probably that same one the rest got. Definitely 3 lugs. Luckily somebody had a 4-bar over there, because without those tires off, they were hitting here, and I couldn't get the engine under there. It would go in there, the tires went in, but the engine was probably still sitting up this way, and it wasn't that bar here. It wasn't going to help hold it in. Maybe I could have still strapped it. Maybe I could have still strapped it in the Park Avenue trunk, if that, but I'm pretty sure that would have broke the straps if that the engine was against that bar where it, when this front part would pull down, then the engine would push up against that bar. I think that's what kept it from breaking all the straps. In that, it took 6 hours to go get it. The gas tank was mounted back here. It's not one of those where it's behind the seat. And since it has an ignition switch, I'm pretty sure that it had a starter. If this is the original engine, when I get this out and look back there somewhere, I should see a place where a starter could bolt up to the flywheel. So, get a look at this once. Yeah, it's hard to make out for me. You might see it on here or something, but I guess I can make out it's a 308, a 38, 30-inch cut, 30-inch cut, 8 horsepower or something, 1W, whatever. If the 8's 8 horsepower or the 1W, I don't know. But if this was one with a starter, that should have been an S somewhere, so I don't see how this could be a one with a starter.
It's definitely not. That says 711.
I'll try to figure this stuff out later.
711.
He showed a video, he took that part off the carburetor, the bowl, and cleaned it out or something. He had gas in it, and he showed it running. So, but it's got those kind of handlebars. And got some repair tag on there. Ken's repaired. But, oh, some welds, and I see a couple places on the deck to, there to weld. It's got the exhaust. Doesn't have that extra
Deflect
Doesn't have
the
the extra flap to deflect the grass. I took most all the straps off, just got that one left. I had one going this way, one going that way, and then I had a rope wound around it all. We had two straps, one strap on this side to hold the deck on, as you can see the chain's hooked on this side. And you can see the chain is not hooked on this side. So we had one of the straps fastened from the deck right up to the hinge. So that's enough of this. I don't know what that triangle thing is there. No idea. And I see there's a paper, a deck warning thing, but he says it needs work on putting the deck in and out of gear, and who knows what else that I haven't been told. Alright, have to get the cherry picker and unload it. Good morning. As you can see, it's all unloaded. I used the finished using the cherry picker and got it up out of the trunk. And I didn't turn the video back to look at where I took a picture of the serial number and the model number. I come back out and got down to my knees and looked at it with a flashlight. Turned out to be a 381. That would have been a W. Had a Tecumseh 8 horsepower that they took off and put on the sprigs. I suppose with the thing way out there, nobody's going to hear my volume. I don't have a mic. I'll just get out of the picture and bring it up close. And okay, so I took the serial number, which is easy to remember, the prefix. The prefix of the serial number was 711, like the convenience store. So I figured it's 7 would be 1977, and 11, or 711. Yeah, so 77 and 11 would be November. So I think it's a 1977 381 that's been repurposed with this Briggs & Stratton from 1991. Instead of I'm not reading these, I'm doing it from memory now. So instead of what would have came with it was a 190 002, it's a 191 002 Briggs engine.
702.
And I think I'm pretty much on the last year for this rear gas tank. I'm going to have to weld this. There's hardly nothing holding this on, because people probably spread it apart all the time to put the tank in, and then they lift it back up. So I'll look and see where they had it tacked, and I'll re-weld it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I got to do it on the mower, or if there's something I take out up in there. But I'll figure it out. But I'm going to pull these rusty wheels back off. I shouldn't have put them on. I put them on last night. I'm going to wire brush them and paint them white today. And I'm going to pull the motor. I'm going to jack it up. I'm going to have it jacked up for doing the rust removal on the rim. And I'm going to look for dates on these. Maybe there's a way to date the rubber if they're original. But they're probably not. But I'm going to pull these 4 bolts off the motor, and I'm going to unhook the linkages over here. The gas line will get unhooked. I'm going to pull this tire on the left side. I'm going to move all these bolts that are in this plate, because once this tire's off and the plate's off, I should be able to some more. I should be able to get at the pulley so I can lift the motor out, and I'm going to use gasoline and one of my oil change pans or something. And I have a parts cleaner behind there, but I don't like what I put in it. It doesn't clean nothing. I got to get all that out of there and use it with gasoline outside, where I take all the gas out every time I finish and just burn it in the burn pile or something, and don't keep anything in it. Or find what you're supposed to put in it, something that actually removes grease. So I'm going to get to work on this. I checked some of the parts on Parts Tree, because they'll bring up the blow up of these. Oh my gosh, between this tailpipe it's curved, and this muffler and other things, because there's hardly any factory ones left for old stock, so they got the prices way up. I'm not even going to say how much it's in the 100. Same with the tire. I mean a rim, or a front rim. They're hundreds. I can't even believe I looked at that. I paid $50 for the mower and about 8 hours of time and $35 worth of fuel and a little wear and tear in the car, and me and my wife's time and some researching it for a month or two to find one for $50, which wasn't easy. Everybody seems to think they got a gold mine and try to sell them for 125 or something, but the good points I noticed was it says I won't have to change points anymore, because it says magnetron, and I see this tire here, the right hand side has a new axle hub. It's $20 worth, unless you buy it from Parts Tree. It was the same with my baler, or my hay mower. It's from the 60s, and there was only one PTO shaft left, so they raised it up to $300. And I actually paid it. At least I could use my mower again. I guess that's what they figure people would do with these. So I can't stand looking at all this grease anymore. So I'm gonna go to it. Well, here they are, so I can just snap my fingers and say now they're all white, but that's pretty rusty. Nothing the same on the inside. I guess the dirt got on the outside. How about the other one? Oh yeah, maybe it's just dirt and then paint, but at least these sides are horrible. No paint at all, hardly, and all rust. So it's going to take some more brushing. Here goes. Okay, here's what I got off the Turf. It's a Turf King tire. It's a 16/650 8-inch for the N743. That could be the 43rd. It could be 1977 43rd week, but it's another number, and it doesn't say DOT before it, so this is way before DOT numbers were made to put on tires, I think. I have no idea what this one means. Anybody knows, go ahead and put it in the comments. This one also has N, and it could be the 11th week or something in 70s. It could be, I can't believe that a 77 garden tractor would have a tire made all the way from 1973. And then I wouldn't even know what this is. So N1173. So my guess is since two of them have an N7, and I think it's made in 77, so probably could be the 43rd week of 77, and this could be the 11th week of 77. It can't be 73. Nobody would keep the tires unless my mower is a 74. Then this could be 11th week of 73, and it's a 74, because my mower supposedly is either a 74, 75, 76, or 77. So, and it also says 78, but that's just tractor data. Who knows
That one.
why they put
That
those
one's
dates,
the one. That one's the one.
But an up-to-date DOT number would have it would have 13 characters, and it would say DOT first. So that's all I'm going to say about the tires. I don't think I proved anything. I don't even see the max tire pressure. I don't see the max tire pressure, and I don't see the load rating.
Because it's off-road.
Certainly wouldn't be 4,456 pounds.
It's the 45th week of 76.
Maybe 743 pounds. But I don't know anything about any of these, so it didn't do me any good. Okay, that back. I guess my new hub is on the left side. So that looks new. Look at the grease pack there too. So I guess that's all these I'd have to take off all around there, the perimeter of that, to get at the belt. But if I don't ever get these tires painted today and it's threatening rain, then I guess I won't be getting this till tomorrow. This pipe here is supposed to be up here like this. Oh, broke off. It's scrounged, so I got two things to weld, and then deck's cracked. There's no rust on the deck. This more had to have been kept inside, at least I think so. And an unheated building, that would have done some surface rust like up there, but yeah, so it had to have been kept inside, and so that's why there's no rust on the deck. Just a couple small cracks to weld, and loss I'm going to paint it. But and now we'll look at that deck cover to see if it was repainted. I'm saying no, it wasn't, because here's the bottom of it. Nobody would have painted the bottom of it. It's all red. So I guess 77, some of the 77, the 77 3081s came with a red cover, unlike all the rest of them from the 70s. And it wouldn't be just a couple more years, and it's going to be, I guess, black plastic. All right, back to degreasing and cleaning and welding.
ACL injury, we got good news. He may have avoided, he said, may have avoided a complete tear. So he hasn't even had surgery. So he's not going to be coming back from an ACL surgery, at least not yet. Then he went on to say, here, there you go. Yep. That's the game will take a hit, but not a football game. Anyway, they don't win for.
Okay, good morning. Should be dry enough to untape. Of course, in between when I'm in the house, I do more research, because I've only owned this for, if it's the 30th, I bought it on the 28th of April. Sunday, Monday, and it's Tuesday, so a couple days I've owned it. And if somebody's watching this years from now, it's 2024. So the spot that I did read the tires, I thought I was getting nowhere. There was one spot that has a little border around the number. I think that was the one. So I'm gonna bring that back up on the tire here. Okay, here's the number that I thought was the date. It says 0044 and then 56. So forget the 00 and the 4. So the date was the last three numbers on tires before 1990. This is not a DOT code, so forget the 004 and 45. 45 then is the week, puts it in November, first or second week. And the 6 on here it is out of the sun. I guess the sun didn't work, it just blinded everything. But at least that's what it looked like in the viewfinder. So there it is. Last three numbers. And it's only on one side of the tire. It's, forget the 004, it's 45, week of 45, it puts it in November. And 6 would be 1976, and it's a 1977 more, so that would make sense. So these tires were made about 3/4 of a year ahead of time. Notice they turned out pretty good. For the other thing that tells me it's a model 381, but those were made for more than 4 or maybe even 5 years, so this red cover is definitely, was only made on them. All the rest were white, so it was only 77 they did that. Okay, factory red. Here's the red on the back side, and you can tell it's not been repainted. It wouldn't be all rusty. Okay, so that's the second clue. Of course, I'm getting nowhere with my cleaning up the motor, goofing around with dates, but I'm going to do it anyway. Normally you can use the motor to go up and read the date off the rewind cover on the side somewhere, but in this case I did read it, and it's a 91 motor, so it's a replacement, and the serial number or the model number says it was a Tecumseh anyway, so that didn't help. So now I will read the serial number plate, and that's the third clue. So we had the tires, the red only cover that goes and covers those pulleys. And now we're going to read the serial number date if I get it all down there on the floor. Okay, and here comes the shiny, maybe it's made out of some kind of aluminum, serial number. There starts with 711. 711. And then it's 10384 for the number of Moors built or something. But the 711 is the date, I think. Matches with the Moor. So 11th month of 77. 7 being, first digit being the year, and it doesn't say decade, but it's 70s, so 77 and the 11th month, so and that's the 3081W, meaning it used to be a Tecumseh, 8 horsepower. Okay, so those are my 3 clues to that I have a 77. Unfortunately, every time I use my air impact to turn that on and let it pump up, and when I shut it off, if I only have a few bolts, then it leaks back down from 120 or whatever. And I gotta listen to it, but it's sure the easy way to do something. Electric impact yet, but I got this side cover off, and I'm thinking for cleaning purposes, if I could take it right up on the bench and put it in one of those oil drain pans and use some gasoline, I could clean this up pretty good. But this is in the way of this new axle hub, so what I'll do is try a chisel gut on there. If that thing persuades it to come out without bending it, where it just immediately starts moving. If I got some real fine punch on the end of one of my chisels, then I could probably get that off, and that don't mean it'll even slide off once the bolt's up, but somebody did change it, so back to it. The one in the gun there is too fat. I'm going to put this one on, and then if I can get all that off, I'll be cleaning that. And then I got to get the 4 bolts off the motor and choke and linkage, other linkages, and kill switch and get the motor in the pan also with gasoline and start cleaning that mess up. And then the deck, the messy deck. Today I ordered some gloss cherry spray paint and some stencils to put the snapper name back on the front and the comet name. I ordered some 2-inch stencils and some 1-inch stencils. 2-inch for the big snapper name and 1-inch for the comet name. And I never really thought about this one. It's probably a cross between the two. Hopefully not, because I only ordered 1-inch stencils and 2-inch stencils. So I'm using a puller. It seems to be working with no problem. I think there's no problem. Should have been off by now. It's going to go hard all the way. Well, I ran out of threads. It was threaded all the way in until I backed it off. So I just keep wrapping it. There it is. Yeah, there's some rust in there. Oh yeah, there's some rust on that. I'll clean that up with some emery cloth. Get this cover up. Alright, well I'm going to do some cleaning. Well, I've looked this over since I took it off. There is no keyway in there. As you can see, there's no keyway. It all runs on that. I could get a drill bit, but I think it's a 5/16 bolt. I don't even think it's 3/8. And notice that I got 3 lug nuts only, because I got a 77. In 1973 was the last year for the hoop handlebars. The hoop handlebars, and it was the last year for the 4 lug nuts. So, at least that's what I said.
Possibly.
And it probably was the same year they changed from the 4-something tires to the 650 tires. So the wider tires might have been in 1973 also. I can't believe there's no keyway. Oh well. Makes it easier to put on, I guess. Put on some safety glasses, and here's my wire brush and grinder there on the shaft, and then I greased it up so it can pull the, I don't know if there's a seal or not, but it'll make it pull off easier. I suppose there is no seal, it's just a bearing.
Yeah, there's a seal.
Must be grease zerks on them. I think I mentioned, somebody said tip them up and check the gear level on both boxes and grease the bushings. So this is just going to be a bushing. Unless you have one of those older ones where they actually have a bearing. Well, welding this gas tank holder's next. I don't know if it's spot welded to this or not. I guess I don't really have to even take off that nut to find out, because there's no grease up here to clean up. It's all down there. So this was a bend in here. There were no welds, so I'll have to decide if I want to weld it all the way across or not. But I'm going to get a square and get it tacked in 3 spots to where it's square, and then weld it and watch it pull in, I guess, out of square, but like things always do when you weld. But I'm going to get this welded up best I can. And then I guess somewhere along the line I have to get the gas tank and see if I can still spread it apart and push it in and out like they've probably been doing. That's probably why it's cracked, because every time you want to take the tank off, for whatever reason, they would bend it out and in and out and in, and that's made that crack. So maybe if I just tack it in, I don't know, but I don't know how this works. You think there would be a slip joint here where you would just tighten up the nuts where it overlaps, so when you want to take the tank off, you would undo them and then slide it out and then take it off, and then when you put it in, you would slide it in and tighten them up. But it doesn't have anything like that, so I've never had one of these before. I don't know how this is going to work. If I weld all this up, then maybe the gas tank won't even fit in there. This isn't that thin of metal. It looks like, I'll measure it. It wasn't an 1/8 inch, it was a 1/16, I guess. And yeah, 16. Plugged in my extension cord and wheeled up my welder and tacked the bottom, and then when I tried the tank it was too tight, so I bent it down some. It was almost breaking my tacks to where I'd have to start over, but they're still holding, so I decided to put the top at between here and here at 5 3/4. That's what the tank is.
So I squared it for nothing.
Yeah, I got it at 5 3/4. So and the tank does touch right where I'm welding, so my grinder I don't think fits in there, so I guess I'll weld it from the bottom and then I'll just have to grind out whatever comes through. So I'm going to get to it. Well, what I see is since I got this off to take the belt off the motor to clean the motor up, the boot is disintegrated. Nothing I did. And then I also see that looks different than a video I watched of somebody else's, or else I'm just forgetting. But I'll have to watch some more on these differentials and what goes between each boot. And there's some chain drive, I thought. I don't remember that round thing.
I'm getting the left and right mixed up because on videos they look at it upright.
Anyway,
this is not the differential side.
That means I'm waiting for the paint to come for 2 days from Amazon, and I'll have to order a boot. Maybe that would be here in a couple days also. Amazon has them. Didn't even know it was gone. I had tip this up straight up since it was in the car, and then I was only thinking about moving it. So really there isn't much left to unhook here. Just that throttle linkage really, and I can do the 4 bolts, unless the pulley is going to have to come off and not fit through the hole. If the pulley would fit through the hole, it wouldn't be much to unhook and I could be cleaning that, but this cleaning is not any fun. Since I gotta wait for the paint to come greased. Well, I was thinking of going over it with the stick welder and making a nice 70-14 rod weld, but it's just a gas tank holder. So yeah, I degreased this whole thing, and I'll have that one to do. That one's about as greasy as this one was. No, I don't think it's as bad because the oil changed things on that side. But still, and I'm not taking it off to do it. I'll just put the pan underneath, so that makes it quicker already. And then I'll have the duct to do when I pull that out. It's a lot of degreasing and wearing a respirator, and so since I gotta wait for parts, I can spread this out over a couple days. Hey, another day. Afternoon now at Randomering. It's Thursday, May 2nd or 3rd or something. So now when I say I welded a piece of metal, I can tell you how thick it is because I bought one of these. And let's see. This metal I've been using, I can't really remember where I got it so much because it was thicker than I thought. All I have to do is put it on number 10. It's 10 gauge for sure. But see, that's pretty thick, 10 gauge. I think I unrolled an air compressor tank, cut the ends off with the Sawzall, a lot of work, and then split it down the middle. Probably did that with the weld, I don't know, maybe I did it all with the Sawzall, then I kind of unrolled it so it'd be flat. If it wasn't that, I can't remember where I got this, but
That was it.
well, the place where I used that 10 gauge was this whole top part of this, they call it a rear bumper, but that one over there, it's just the way it is. I checked to see how much they cost. It was $59 or something, so forget it. So the bottom part was here. I unbolted it. I had to bend. I used a little lighter gauge, I imagine. It's not no conduit or nothing. Oh, that's right. With my gauge, I could see what gauge it is now. I checked. I consider 10 gauge thick for skinnier stuff. It's gauge 13. It's just a little bigger round of a pipe than that one. That's what I had on hand. I hardly had any of that. But I used about a 3-foot pipe. I would have liked to have a 5-foot pipe to bend it. I put it in the drawbar of the Super M, and the drawbar has a roller thing on it that is circular, and I'll show you just right there, that round thing there in the drawbar. Since the bottom portion was still there, I used that to keep lining it up here to get the bend right. So eventually I got that first bend, and sometimes I took it and hammered it on the anvil vise a little bit and out on the railroad track, but then I got that one, and then I started doing this one. And then I think when I put it on a straight edge before I welded it, I think I even had to tweak it a little more, but
pretty much is the same as the other one there. This one was bent way into here. I still didn't bend it out as far as it should, but maybe I'll put a piece of, this is where I put a piece of 10 gauge metal. I don't know if you can tell, but if you look it over on the side, you can see where it sticks out there. Yeah, you can see it now. So then I re-drilled the holes through the 10 gauge piece of metal. And the only thing I did wrong was, instead of 5 inches, for some reason I had 6 in my head. See where I plugged it? I had to re-plug it with the welder. I had it all wrapped up and put away too. But, so there's that. So now I got the bumper so I could tip it up. I could take the oil out of there and tip it up. And then I had to do a bunch of studying because this is my first friction drive. I had to learn how it worked. It took me all morning. I never had a snow blower that had friction drive or anything, but so instead of changing a drive belt, you change the friction drive disc. That's about six or so inches around. Little smaller than that pulley. It's about the inside of that pulley, the outer inside, before it V's up. So that's about how big it is, and it runs against a disc under the drive pulley for the deck. And so those two meet each other. The vertical one, called the driver, meets the horizontal one that's on the engine shaft. That's called the driver plate, and the other one's called the driven. And so those two meet each other, and obviously then you can't have any worn bushings on anything or it just gets looser. But so I studied that, and for all morning I wondered where the transmission was. Well, it turns out to be, I didn't think they could use that, but they do. The center of it is actually neutral, where you bolt it on. And the right side of the pulley is reverse, and the left side is however many gears there are, 5. So it took me all morning to figure that out, because nobody would actually say on their videos that there's no transmission. And so I had to realize from looking at my parts below out and listening to some people talk when they're rebuilding the differential and the chain box. The chain box has a sprocket inside. It's just on the other side of where the vertical driver, little rubber tire is going up to that horizontal plate on the engine shaft. The friction drive hooks to a chain box like in a rototiller. It always has oil like a timing chain, and it goes up to the axles. There's 2 axles. One slides over the other one, so it's a hollow one and a solid one. The hollow one is the one that turns it when you're going straight, and the solid one in the middle is the one that works with the differential planetary gears to make one wheel stop and the other one turn when you go around a corner so it doesn't slip the wheel. So I had to figure all that out, and the fact that nobody ever would say how it actually changes speed, so that's how it is. The further it moves over on the left side of the pulley, that's the left and right, obviously, but when you tip that up and look at it the other way, your left and right are going to be different if you were talking about it, because you're facing it then. That kind of screwed me up in one spot. And these are kind of hard to put on because there's no studs and there's no centered rim in the middle either. And so what somebody told me to do was go get a 1/2 inch by 20 solid rod and cut off some about, some about 4 4 inches, so you got a lot to grab when you're going to unscrew them, so you can use them for alignment dowels. So you put in 2 of your homemade alignment dowels, and then easily put the rim on, and then put in the one lug bolt, and then each time keep taking one out until you got 2 on, and then take the last one out and you got 3 on. So I'm going to make one of those, because that was the first thing I found out I didn't like about these when I had to, because I had to take these rims off to put it in the trunk of the car. And when I first put it back on, I said, "Are you kidding me?" So anyway, I got this bumper so I could tip it up. I'll take the oil out. The gas is already off because the whole tank's off. I'm painting it right now. Over here, I'm going to wipe it off with some paint thinner when I'm done wiping it down with some 220 grit. And then there's where I welded that back on. And so I'll have the left fender painted. And I got my cherry gloss enamel, and hardware store didn't have it. I had to order it. I went and painted this one with some normal paint that I had on. It was called gloss apple red. Yeah, the cherry's a lot lighter colored. I could have just as well done it with the one from our hardware store, so if I run out, I don't got to order it on the internet. Plus this one says paint and primer. But I thought that's what Rust-Oleum is, but I'm not sure. This one don't say that. So anyway, I can still change my mind and do it with the what I say it was called, apple red, because these are at the hardware store. But I'm going to paint my first piece. Well, other than that, I'll paint my first piece, and then I get through with that. I've got to take those 4 engine bolts out and tip it up. And I was told well, there's that little rubber tire that rubs up on top. But the piece up on top, the driving disc, I was told it's going to fit through the hole. But if it doesn't, I was told to hit it with a stick, make a stick and drive it in next to it and hit it a few times, and it just unscrews. The whole plate's threaded or something. Hope I don't have to experience that. I hope the whole thing does come right out of the hole, man. Alright, and my 191 702 motor from 1991 will pull out. Been heard of one that says power range, but I watched it run on the internet before I bought it. So, but I wanted a cheap one, but I don't. It must be this thing leaks, and then they must tip it up to service the belt and the greasy bushings on the axles, and then it would leak out through here, or else they spilled it when they put oil in, or when they drain the oil. They never put a 2-inch or whatever a short nipple on here, and then a regular pipe plug. I mean, as long as it doesn't pass these bumpers, you're good, because you don't want to tip it up in the plug. So they never put one of those on it. Well, I don't know. Why do you think it could be this grease? It's all the way around like that. And underneath, because I cleaned the inside of that. Left fender, and it was the same. It was the same as all this caked. Everything had to be scraped with a scraper before the gas, because then I don't have to dissolve so much with the gasoline. And I guess this mower, being a 3081 from 1977, It's got those U-bolts, U-bolt shaped things on there. I guess there are no little rubber or little wooden wheels or discontinued wheels, I think, to keep it from digging in. I guess these are supposed to keep it from digging in? I don't know. Anyway, I gotta get to work here. I'm gonna put on a thin first coat like I did. And then wait about 10 minutes and then put on another one. And this spray paints out of a can isn't like car paint. It doesn't last anyway. The ultraviolet rays wreck it right away. So this is, if I wanted it to look really good, I would buy car paint. Or I mean, if I wanted it to last. But this, I mean, before I put this on, I had to use paint thinner to get more of the sanding, the old paint off from the 220 grit and the any grease left. Be great if I had a steam cleaner, but I don't even have a pressure washer. So, and so this compared to, so it's going to look. All I care even about is getting the back half of the mower done where it's all greasy. The front could even stay like that. The old look. But I just want to get, if I'm going to have it apart to remove the grease, I might as well spray paint it with this cheap paint. Not that it's cheap. I'm sure 4 cans is $25. All right. All right, I got the both sides of that painted without waiting so long because I put some bolts through it to hold the other side up. Because an hour later it was still tacky, so I don't know. It's not sunny, but usually spray paint dries quicker than that. And I got the engine loose. There was some fine thread. I think there were 5/16 because it takes a 1/2 inch wrench. Wow, no bolt. No bolt. And so forth. And so forth. So, it means I should be able to move it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I didn't think so, but Jim on the internet said this would pull out of there. Now, since I'm looking at it there, it looks like it will, so I won't have to take that pulley off. I mean that disc, the friction disc drive. Okay, and then this way when I tip it up, I can tip it up without the motor on it. And the motor will go up here on this table and I'll put it in that oil change tin. We'll get some gas on it. Kind of gray out today. I thought it was gonna, that's why I put those bolts in there. I thought it was gonna rain and I wanted to get this back into the garage so it can dry overnight. All right, well, I'm gonna go do those things. Okay, here we go. A lot of crud to clean up there. Belt was easy to get off because it was already off up there. So, well, I got that in the pan. I didn't know it would stand up. I was ready to put it in a brick, but that friction disc plate underneath holds it up. That's good. All right, now, bunch of scrubbing. Well, had pretty good luck on most stuff. The motor is all just normal without all that crud all over it, all the way around. A little harder to get that carburetor, but I stuck with it. And I put the drain pan under there and kept scraping and scraping grease into it, and then eventually got the wire brush going and took any rust off. There was some rust on the deck there. I had pretty good luck except for the other side. It must be I didn't wait long enough and I got a couple runs. I'm not done painting yet anyway, so some drip down there so you know it ran. But that's a heck of a lot cleaner, and then I guess I'll have to take the bumpers off and do the back either after, well, I can get at that with no problem. Where I didn't have any luck is with these, about 7 years ago or so, they came out with these new kind of cans, and seems like about 1 out of 10 I break. Like all of a sudden this comes off real quick, and then I break that thing right off. I'll tell Amazon, I'll take a picture of it. They'll probably give me my money back. Alright, well, it started raining. That's why I might have touched the engine up out here on the pallet, but it started raining again. At least I got some work done under this. I got an overhang up there, so kind of work out there on this little slab of cement that I had some leftover cement when cementing the garage, and just kept going as far as it till I ran out. And that's my little slab for working outside. So, well, now I don't have to look at that grease anymore. I'm sure when I tip it up, it's probably greasy inside, but I don't think it would be as bad as the outside. Alright, this is it. Going in for a shower and supper. It's about 6 o'clock.